The first point to understand in this complex area of law is that mistake has a more specific definition in legal contexts compared to everyday language. A layperson might assume that an agreement based on a clear misunderstanding should hold no weight. However, the law does not simply declare a contract void because one or both parties would have acted differently had they known the true facts. Numerous instances illustrate that what is considered a mistake in common terms may lack legal significance, and remedies, when available, often arise from different grounds. Law of contract. Common mistake and void contracts with example case. Galloway v. Galloway, 1914. Hello. Welcome back to Case Briefs. Today, we're exploring the influence or consequences of mistake in contract law. We shall be using the Galloway v. Galloway 1914-30-TLR-531 as a case example, so stick around. First, let's clarify the concept of mistake in contract law. Introduction. In contract law, a mistake refers to a misunderstanding or incorrect belief about a material fact at the time of contract formation. Mistakes can render a contract void or voidable, depending on the nature of the error. A common mistake occurs when both parties share the same incorrect assumption about an essential fact. If this mistaken assumption is fundamental, the contract may be void ab initio, from the beginning. A prominent case that illustrates common mistake is Galloway v. Galloway, 1914, where a separation agreement was deemed void due to the parties mistakenly believing they were legally married. Case background. This case concerns a marital separation agreement. A man and woman entered into a contract for separation, believing they were legally married. However, it later emerged that their marriage was never valid. Facts of the case. The claimant, Mr. Galloway, and the defendant, Mrs. Galloway, entered into a separation agreement based on the assumption that they were lawfully married. It was later discovered that their marriage was legally invalid, meaning they were never husband and wife in the eyes of the law. Mr. Galloway sought to avoid his obligations under the separation agreement, arguing that it was based on a fundamental mistake. Nature of the case. This was a contractual dispute in which the key issue was whether a contract, the separation agreement, was legally binding when it was based on an incorrect fundamental assumption, the assumption that the parties were married. What are the legal issues? The key legal question was: does a contract become void if both parties share a mistaken belief about a fundamental fact? In this case, the common mistake was that both parties believed they were legally married when, in fact, they were not. The court had to determine whether this mistake invalidated the contract. Judgment. The court held that the separation agreement was void due to a common mistake regarding the marriage's validity. Since the agreement was based on a false assumption that they were legally married, there was no valid contract to dissolve. The ruling established that when a contract is founded on a fundamental mistake, it is void from the outset, void ab initio. Similar cases Bell v. Lever Bros. 1932. AC 161. The House of Lords held that a contract is void only if the mistake concerns an essential aspect of the agreement. Great Peace Shipping Limited v. Savliris Salvage, International, Limited, 2002. EWCA Civ 1407. This case refined the doctrine of common mistake, holding that a contract is only void if the mistake makes performance impossible. Saul v. Butcher, 1950. 1 kilobyte 671 explored the difference between void and voidable contracts in cases of mistake. Implication of the case and precedent set that the case established a key precedent. If a contract is based on a fundamental mistaken assumption, it may be void ab initio. Common mistake can invalidate an agreement when it affects an essential fact that forms the basis of the contract. Parties must ensure that fundamental assumptions underlying their contracts are accurate. The ruling in Galloway v. Galloway set the stage for later cases such as Bell v. Lever Bros., refining when common mistake makes a contract unenforceable. Case summary. Galloway v. Galloway, 1914, is a common mistake case where a separation agreement was deemed void because the parties were never legally married. The court ruled that the mistake was fundamental, making the contract unenforceable. The case reinforced the principle that when a contract is based on a shared but false assumption about an essential fact, it is void from the outset. It laid the foundation for modern contract law principles on mistake, influencing later cases like Bell v. Lever Bros. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.